Hey everybody, welcome to the KRO-NCRV live Q&A. I'm Emilia Fox and I play Dr. Nikki Alexander in the series Silent Witness. It's great to meet you all here, and I've heard that KRO-NCRV has a detective summer with lots of detectives. And I wish that I'd met you in the Netherlands, but that hasn't been possible. But I'm really looking forward to answering all of your questions tonight. So let's bring it on and kick off the KRO-NCRV Detective Summer. The first question that I've got is from Rita, and it is, are the body parts real and what are they made of? So when we have like full bodies on the mortuary slabs and we're just going to do external examinations on them, normally they are the live actors lying on the slabs. So we have to make them as comfortable as we can, filming in quite exposed situations in front of the crew. Then when we have to cut into the bodies, obviously they either use something called a pizza, which is made of sort of latex and plastic, and it just looks as though the body's been cut open. And then when we have to delve in, we actually use organs that they've got from the butcher, very often pigs' organs, or things will have been made by the art department, sometimes out of things like cereal. So do we have another question? Yes, we do. Molly. Hi, Molly. How does it feel to have such a big following of Silent Witness? Well, it is the very best, and it is the reason that I love going back to Silent Witness every year, because we make it for the people who watch it, and the pleasure that I have got from social media and making friends with the people who watch Silent Witness, and hearing what people think about it has been a real joy in these last few years, and I am forever grateful for the very loyal following that it has and the friends I've made through it. Kirsty, would you like to act as a guest in an episode of Lewis, as a corpse perhaps, or a killer? I would have loved to have been in Lewis. I was never asked to be in Lewis, but in fact, one of the reasons why I wanted to be an actress, I think, was because I loved Inspector Morse when I was growing up, which was the series previous to Lewis. And I always wanted to be an Inspector Morse. In fact, when I first started, I said to my agent, please, could I play a dead body in Inspector Morse? And then I never got asked, and I was never asked to be in Lewis either. But I would love to be a corpse in something, because you don't have to learn any lines. And I feel like I've got the hang of how you do dead acting now. And also I would love to play a baddie again, because they're really, really fun to play. So for anyone who is joining now, I just want to say welcome to the live stream, and it's so lovely having you here this evening. Rowena, what's your most memorable episode of Silent Witness and why? My goodness, there are so many now, so many memorable episodes, because I've been doing it for, I think, 15 years, which I can't believe. But the ones that really stand out, if I have to be brief about it, are Shadows, which was 2 fantastic episodes, which was about a shooting on the campus where the Lyle is, that Nikki and Harry, who was my colleague in it some time ago, get caught up in, or they were caught up in the shooting. And then I think my absolute favorite episode is probably the one where it was set in Mexico, because it was such a big episode for Nikki, and it challenged me both as the character and as an actress. spending a week filming in a box by myself, buried underground, or pretending to be buried underground, was quite a challenge. But I really, really loved it. And yeah, it was a special one. Welcome to anyone who's just arrived to the live stream. Good evening. Holly, what's your favourite moment in Silent Witness? My favourite moment in Silent Witness. I think I'm going to go back to the old days when I first arrived and was brushing my teeth in the mortuary when Leo came in and said, "What are you doing?" And putting all my stuff on Harry's desk. Those, I mean, there is so many favourite moments I have, but the beginning of Nikki and what she was like and the fun side of her, I really enjoy playing. Rolf, have you ever worked with your father or your nephew? So I haven't worked with, I have worked with my dad. I did a film with him in Canada because when I first started, I think with a family where there are lots of people doing acting and the same job, we all wanted to do our own things separately, and so chose not to really work with each other, or didn't really get asked. My mum was in Pride and Prejudice, which was the first job I did, but we were in very, very separate bits. But then my dad and I got asked to do a film in Canada together, and it was lovely because it felt so far away and that there wouldn't be a spotlight on it. And I just adored working with him, and everyone adores him when he goes on set. So that was very special. My nephew, I'm wondering if that is my brother Freddie, who is also an actor, because I don't have a nephew working as an actor or in the business. But Freddie, my brother, I also haven't worked in the theatre or on film yet, but we've just been asked to do something during lockdown. So they're working at the logistics of that as lockdown is eased, and hopefully I'll be working with him in the next couple of weeks filming. But as Dr. Nikki, you are a perfectionist. Am I right? You are right. Nikki pushes herself to the limits of trying to get everything right and trying to do the right thing for people. And I think she's a bit of a workaholic too, because she doesn't have outside family life and she doesn't have children. And she has only recently got a sort of serious boyfriend in the series. And so, yes, I think she's a workaholic, and I think she's a perfectionist about getting it right because she wants to get it right for other people. Kathleen, I hope I pronounced your name right. How do you feel in this self-isolation period because of COVID-19? Can you keep yourself busy? Oh my goodness. I feel like I've been busier than ever, but doing all sorts of things. So house things, all the day-to-day stuff, of course, homeschooling. That takes up a lot of time. I've also been doing a lot of book tapes, audiobooks from my bedroom. So I've had a microphone up there and the equipment, and I've just been reading day and night. So that's kept me busy. And then taking the dogs for one walk and bit of exercise a day. I feel like it has been really busy and it's challenging, but I've also loved the time of being at home and then thinking of, what everyone is going through, on the front line, and also talking to my friends who are pathologists, and all of that link in with Silent Witness has been interesting. So self-isolation has been hard, not seeing family and friends, of course, and not working, because we were meant to be doing a series of Silent Witness now, and I can't wait to start again. But in a way, it's been time to slow down, to think what's the most important things in life and who are important to you, and to think about all the other people who are going through it too. Cora, at what age did you start acting? And I must say welcome to everyone who's just joined the live stream. question and answers. What age did I start acting? I didn't really want to act at all because my whole family were doing it, and I wanted to do something on my own, and not do something and not succeed at it when they'd done well at it. So I didn't even think about it until university. And then while I was at university, it was a hobby, really, doing acting while I was studying. And then I did a holiday job. I auditioned for Pride and Prejudice because I was a terrible waitress, and I got that part. And then I got an agent, and my mum and dad said, don't leave university, get your degree. And then I went up for an audition while I was doing my finals for Rebecca, the Daphne du Maurier, an adaptation of the Daphne du Maurier book Rebecca, for ITV, and I got that. And then I just went from my finals exam into acting, and then I never looked back. And sometimes I think maybe I should have looked back and chosen it, but actually I love it so much, and once I'd started I didn't want to stop, and I never do. Herman, you use in the series all kinds of medical Latin terms. Do you know exactly what it all means, or do you just follow the script and actually have no idea what it's all about? It's a very good question. When I first read a script, and you're given the autopsies with all the medical terms and the science stuff, sometimes it just seems like gobbledygook. But I don't think I would be able to say it if I didn't know what it meant, and I definitely wouldn't be able to do the autopsies if I didn't know what it meant. So it helps as soon as you know. So it's sometimes challenging remembering the terms, but I do find out what they mean. And we have lots of help from real pathologists on set, or a coroner who very often helps us. And so, yes, I always find out what it means, but very quickly can forget it too. Emmy, why was your hair dark in season 23 after so many years of blonde hair? Well, I had a season at maybe quite early on in Silent Witness where I had dark hair. The truth of it, for this series, was that I'd just done a job called The Trial of Christine Keeler for the BBC in between series of Silent Witness, and they wanted to dye my hair dark, so they did. And then the producers of Silent Witness saw it, and they said, oh, we like you with dark hair, so why don't you do a series with dark hair? And we thought, why not? People change their hair color all the time, and it might be fun. But I'm back to blonde now, back to my roots. Annette, how many weeks per year are you filming Silent Witness? How many days per episode? So this has changed over the years. We used to do 11-day fortnights, and the hours would be, you would get to set at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you would sometimes finish at like 8 o'clock at night, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. In fact, those hours have changed, and we now do 5 days a week. So we have our weekends, which is good for family life. And we film for about, we film for 7 months of the year. And it works out at being about 27 weeks with a summer break. So it's a lot of the year, and I love it. Herma, will there be a series 24 of Silent Witness? I hope there will be a series 24 of Silent Witness. We were just about to start filming when lockdown happened. We were a week away, and then they said, no, we can't start now. So I'm hoping that whenever government guidance says that we can, that we will. Yes. Welcome to everyone who is joining the live stream Q&A tonight, and it's such a pleasure to have you here. Kirsten, how much are you and Dr. Alexander alike? This is a very good question. I like to describe Nikki and I as really good friends. We've lived alongside each other for 15 years. So she's taken, my life with her is like over a quarter of it. And we are different in our lives. Obviously she is way cleverer than I am. And but she doesn't have a family life, she doesn't have children, which is a big part of my life. But I think we are both passionate about what we do. I think that the Lyle family team feel that we had with the four of us, and in its previous evolution, the three of us, is something that I thrive on with the crew and the casts on Silent Witness, and that Silent Witness feel. So we do have similarities. And I love the house that Nikki Alexander lives in. So we share the same tastes, and there's the same tastes in clothes and things like that. But I think of her as a friend rather than as someone that I am, because that would be weird if I just came home as Nikki Alexander too. Monique, if a crossover was possible, with which inspector would you like to team up? I would love to have teamed up with Inspector Morse. I would absolutely have loved that. He was such a hero. Welcome to everyone who is just joining the live stream now, and thank you for coming with your questions. Evie, what is your favourite part about being on the set of Silent Witness? My favourite part about being on the set, there are so many favourite parts. It begins at the beginning of the day. I love going through the gates. I love the beginning of the day when the crew starts. There's only sort of the costume and makeup, and we all get together and create the look of what each character will be for the day. Then I love the rehearsal period where you get to try out different things with the actors. I'm really passionate about that. And the faster and faster that television gets made, the less and less rehearsal time there is. But I really try and build it in, because it means you get to know the actors that you're working with a bit, and you get to play and feel a bit more relaxed. So I really take that on as something that I like to say to the other actors when they arrive, let's do that, because then it makes the scenes a bit more relaxed. And I love the moments when you get so involved in a take, you don't think about anything else apart from just the playing of it and the reality of it. So I love playing Nikki Alexander. I love the cast and crew feel, and I love creating the stories and seeing what they turn out like. Emile, which of the current TV detectives do I like most, and what would I like to play in? Which of the current TV detectives do you like most, and what would you like to play in? I would love to, I think I would love to be in Vera. I would love to be in any detective series as any character. I was brought up on, sort of crime fiction, Agatha Christie's and Sherlock Holmes. I love a murder mystery. I love solving mysteries at home when I'm watching telly. And so, yes, any of the detective series which are on at the moment. I love Brenda Blethyn, so Vera. Paige, are you sad to see Liz and Richard leave this series? I am so sad to see Liz and Richard leave this series. It's utterly heartbreaking. They were heartbreaking scenes to play. When Richard Thomas died in the series, we all found that really hard. And the scene where Liz's character Clarissa said that she was going, So as characters, it was really hard and we all felt emotional. But as, real people, it was utterly heartbreaking when they left the series, and they will be very, very missed. They were brilliant and are brilliant and will continue to be brilliant in other things. Hetty, you come from a real acting family. Did that inspire you to become an actress yourself? Well, because lots of my families were involved in the same business, I didn't want to do it, but I do find them very inspiring. And in fact, I did a documentary called "Who Do You Think You Are?" And I often get asked, "Do you think you became an actress because it's in your blood?" And I've always said, "No, no, 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 no. It's more to do with feeling comfortable around the business, and you get used to hearing stories, and so there's an ease with it, and I met lots of people who were in the business when I was a child, so I thought, oh, it's to do with that, it's not really in the blood." And then I did "Who Do You Think You Are?" and they look into your family tree and your genealogy, and found that lots and lots of people had done acting in the family or had a passion for the arts. And then I felt sort of super proud, actually, rather than going, oh gosh, no, 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 it's not to do that. I felt super proud that there were lots of people doing something that they love, and they've done well at it. And yeah, so I do find them an inspiration in each of their individual ways. Betek, I hope I've pronounced your name right. If you chose to play in a movie, what kind of movie would you choose? Um, in a dream scenario, I would love to be in a musical movie, but I would be terrible in it. I love watching musical movies, like Mamma Mia, but I would be really, really bad. I would love to be in a romantic comedy. It'd be very different from Silent Witness. And yeah, I'd also like to play a good baddie in a movie. Welcome to everyone who's joining the live stream tonight. Thank you for joining us. Emilia, another Emilia, differently spelled Emilia. If you could play another character on Silent Witness, who would it be and why? I would definitely play a dead body. I mean, absolutely. I would lie there all day long, very quietly, having a snooze, as some of our bodies do, and enjoy listening to other people remember crazy long words. People are very nice to you when you're on the slab. Willem, is it possible for me to come on the show as an extra? Where can I sign up? Oh my goodness, this is a very good question. I know that when they choose extras, they choose them, for each, obviously, for particular bits of the story. So I think you have to sign up with an extras agency, and then the agency would put you up for the right parts in it. And I'm sure if you said that you wanted to be part of Silent Witness, then they would look out for the roles for you. It'd be great to see you if you do come and be an extra. Mia, were there things you had to do that were too emotional or too gross to do? Um, so I have had some very emotional scenes to play. And some of them are around the bodies themselves. And in fact, true to life, whenever there is a case which is around children, there are some pathologists who won't do autopsies on children. That's their choice. And of course, that reflects when we're talking about what's happened to children in the series. I've found some of the scenes very, very difficult to play, and have been quite emotional about those. So then and I would say in the Mexico episodes, then doing lots of those phone scenes, and with Jack, that was very emotional. And very often he would sit actually outside the box and we would do it for real on the phone to each other. And they were really long dialogue scenes, you know, between Nikki and Jack, where they got the chance to express their feelings and friendship and love for each other and dependence on each other. So those were emotional scenes to play. Yeah, there's lots of gross things that go on in Silent Witness, lots of it to do with organs and cutting open hearts and holding intestines which slither out of your hands. But also actually in the places that we film, they can very often be quite disgusting. There was a couple of series ago, we started off in some loos which were really, really rank. Annette, what did you study at university? I studied English at university, English literature and language. And I had 3 glorious years at Oxford, which I would love to go back and repeat again and work harder and appreciate more. I always think university is a funny time in your life where you're coming out of school and there's more studying to do. Now I would go back and just eat up studying. So it's my recommendation to anyone who is at university now to really make the most of it. Pals, has Dr. Nikki become a kind of alter ego in all these years, or can you really turn the button off after leaving the set? I can turn the button off and walk back through my front door as myself. But then as soon as I get into bed, I'm learning lines for the next day. And so my head slightly switches back into Nikki mode. So I have to let her go for a little bit. But she's always with me. And yes, I mean, I said in another one of the questions, actually, that I see her rather as an alter ego. I see her as a friend that I've lived, a best friend that I've lived alongside for 15 years now. Welcome to everyone who is joining the live stream Q&A, and thank you for your questions. Daphne, what would be your absolute dream acting job? My dream acting job, I think I'm doing my dream acting job. I always wanted to be in a crime series because of my love of crime fiction, crime shows, films about crime. So I think I'm doing my dream job. That my dream acting job. My dream job, if I wasn't acting, I would have loved to have been a pathologist. I wish that I had done the training now, rather than just acting it, or I would do something completely different, like gardening, which I love too. Robert, would you like it if your daughter Rose would play in an episode, and what role should be written for her? Well, funnily enough, they did ask me there's a scene in the episode in Mexico, which was needed a little girl to play Nikki. And they asked and Rose was with me at the time, and they asked me if she would do it. But you know what? I think for me, it's quite important for her that she's not introduced to acting too early, that it's something that she will choose to do if she wants to do later. So, and at the moment she has absolutely no interest in it at all. She thinks it's like a hobby to do, not a real job. I don't think she's right, but I happen to love my hobby and my job. Now, I'm so sorry, I'm going to pronounce your name wrong. If I do, Wouter, hello. Have you ever come up with a murder idea? Do you have any influence on the episodes or in the scene? I myself haven't come up with a murder idea, no. And the writers, although I do think about things in a very different way now. And whenever you see a, crime story in the newspaper or on the news, I think, in sort of, I guess with the forensic information that I've picked up on Silent Witness over the years. But these stories and the writers are so incredible that we have had on Silent Witness, and they're quite, hard to orchestrate. What with the sort of mystery of it, with the detective side of it for the police, with the forensic side for Jack and Clarissa, who was working on the forensic side, and also for the pathology side, and of course for the guest characters and their, human drama and all of that. So I wish that I was someone who could come up with an idea for a story like that, but you have to be really, really brilliant to do that. And do we have any influence on the episodes or in the scene? Yes, to a certain extent. I get to talk about, sorry, that's my dog growling on the floor there. So I get to talk about the episodes, and having played Nikki for so long now, there are things that I can inform and hopefully help writers with, if it was something that didn't tie up with episodes that I'd done before or storylines that I hadn't done before. And certainly in the scenes, yes, because at that moment it becomes the actor's scene and the director's scene, and so then we get to work together on it. But I talk to the writers all the time and ask them questions that I have. Welcome to the live stream, and thank you for bringing all your questions tonight. So do we have any more questions? Herma, what is your biggest hobby besides acting? My biggest hobby besides acting is probably my passion for gardening. I love gardening. I love flowers of all kinds. I would love to study horticulture, but I have also been learning the piano, and I've been having lots of lessons online during lockdown. So that's my other big hobby. Welcome to the live stream, and thank you for bringing all your questions. It's very lovely to get them and to be able to get a chance to answer them and to meet you like this. Frank, what do you think the strength of the series Silent Witness is? After all these years, it is still so popular. So I think the strength of Silent Witness is that it is a detective story, but with a difference in that there is the medical side to it, and we are finding the clues in the bodies, sorry. And so it gives another sort of strand to murder mystery, detective solving drama. I think it is a lot to do with the legacy of Sam Ryan, who was the first pathologist in Silent Witness, brilliantly played by Amanda Burton, who really, really sort of held the torch for this kind of drama, and a female-led drama at the time, which was quite unusual. And then I think it evolved and became Her and about Harry and Leo, and I think there was a real love for those characters, and then Nikki got introduced and the dynamic changed again. So and they had a very good bantery relationship, moonlighting relationship, Harry and Nikki, and the audience seemed to love that, and the relationship between the three of them alongside the stories. And then the cast changed again, and it was then two pathologists with Harry and with Nikki and Thomas, and a forensic side opened up with Clarissa and Jack. So I think alongside great stories, because there are always new stories to tell about, you know, crimes and murders and death and crime solving, but it's the evolution of the cast and hopefully the audience loving the regular characters and being loyal to them too. So, Fem, are we going to see some romance blossom between Nikki and Jack? I don't know. I don't know. The characters were never seen as romantically linked. I think because Nikki and Harry had that relationship where, you know, wouldn't they get together? And then Harry left the series. And I think Nikki's character still really, her heart was all Harry's. And I also think that she's probably, when I've thought about her backstory, a bit of a bit shy of relationships because of her family life and her relationship with her dad, who was not great with her. And so then when Jack was introduced to the series, they were like, you know, we all talked about it, and there was going to be no romantic interest between them at all. They had a brother and sister relationship, which was really lovely because, you know, that family relationship meant they could tell the truth to each other and they could have arguments, but they still loved each other. And I feel that we've carried that on, but there's a real tenderness between them. But Nikki has now got a relationship with Matt Garcia, who is the brilliant character played by Michael Landis. And he's been the man in her life for the last couple of series. So I don't know what will happen with Nikki and Jack. It will be up to the producers and the writers. Welcome to the live stream. If you are just joining now, thank you for bringing your questions to it, and I hope I can answer them. Okay. Corinne, was it difficult to replace Sam? Yes, it was difficult to replace Sam. I knew how loved Silent Witness was. I knew how loved the Sam Ryan character was. I knew how loved Amanda Burton was in that role. And I was very worried about taking over as the sort of female, but the producers reassured me that it wouldn't be about taking over or trying to replace. It would be about creating a new dynamic. And I think none of us were sure how that would go. And I felt quite responsible to the series, which had been doing so brilliantly, and wanted it to go well too. And I think because, you know, luckily we had great stories to tell, but also because the dynamic was so different than from when Sam Ryan was there, I hope that sort of made that transition easier. But I do remember a newspaper saying, and it's one of the reasons why one should never read reviews or anything like that, and I don't know why I saw it or how I saw it, but it did say Sam Ryan would have solved this quicker than Nikki Alexander or something like that. And I thought, no, she wouldn't. She'd solve it in the same time, which is 2 hours. So we've got to get to the last question. I can't believe it. It's gone so quickly. Thank you so much for all your questions. And we have time for just one more. Now, please forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. Wimela. I've watched the show from the beginning. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Honestly, the loyalty from the audience to Silent Witness is incredible, and it is the absolute reason why we carry on making it. So thank you very, 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 very much for watching from the beginning, and thank you to all those who have joined at different times too. How do you stay young? I so don't. I am all of my 45 years, and how do I stay young? I don't. I just am 45, and hopefully, and having some fun. I think fun, laughter, friends, family. Um, but yes, very definitely 45. But thank you very, very much for even suggesting that I was anywhere near young. Oh my goodness, it has been such a pleasure. And thank you very, very, very much for joining. And I hope you've enjoyed it too. And I wish I had been in the Netherlands. It would have been so amazing. But I hope you have fun tonight and tomorrow at KRO-NCRV Detective Nights. And I hope you carry on enjoying Silent Witness. And I hope we get to make another series of Silent Witness for you. And I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for joining.